a cannibalistic watermelon eating a can of ballistic watermelon. Jabberscotch. What's up, YouTube? Thedagem here, and today we're getting back to some basics. Knife collection on Pinehurst Map A. You know the drill here, so let's just get going. Map A has the phone on the main house, and I like to start up at the northern end of the camp and work my way around in a circle clockwise. But as always, I start with the two knives in the shack. Next up, Stoneside Camp, and my favorite cabin, Rod Felder's. The knives here are both inside the hallway. The first one's on the corner right after you open the front door, and the second one is about halfway down the hallway. All that's left to do is give Rod Felder here a fist bump and move on to the next cabin. These walkthroughs are an easy way to learn the cabin names and their layouts. You'll start to know as a counselor which cabin you're in if you do these. This can help you to loot the cabins quicker, know which ones have bear traps and where they are, and where the drawers are to loot. I cannot recommend doing these walkthroughs more. They have helped my counselor game immensely. But let's move on. The other two cabins up here have knives as well, but they are both single-door cabins without names. I've found that even though these cabins never have names, they usually have a knife, and there are two types of these small cabins as well. Ones with knives inside like we just saw, and ones with knives outside like we're about to see. You can usually peer through a window and see that half wall there, that divider. If it's not there, the knife is outside, and this can help you to quickly know where the knife will be if there is one. Next up, Camarillo Camp, and more specifically, Puopolo's cabin. Right after I finish wrestling with this man-eating Douglas fir. What the fuck? Alright, let's go in through the back door of Puopolo's, because it's more of a straight line for the next few knives. Okay, grab the knife by the back door, and why do I have a feeling I'm going to have to deal with this guy? Oh, because I am. Perfect. Anyway, remember this cabin name and its layout. It may look similar to Rod Felder's, but you can spot the differences, and this can help you to loot quick as a counselor, or grab knives quick when you chase one in here. Don't leave this cabin without these knives. They are your best weapon. Okay, there's the nameplate, there's the knife on the front door, and next door, a knife we can almost see from here. And next to that, another really easy pair of knives to collect on an unnamed cabin. So let's get at it. I typically collect this footage on the offline bots on the easiest setting. And this is just so I don't have to deal with as many locked doors and counselors trying to get a Jason kill when I'm just trying to show you where stuff is. But I'm splicing in footage now because that goddamn Adam would not leave me alone. Okay, moving on. Next door is that unnamed cabin I told you about, with two knives that are super easy to collect. The first one is right here inside the front door, and the other is just to the left of the back door. Now keep in mind, look at this power box here. Remember what that tells you. If you see this power box as a counselor, you know Jason's shack is up north. But oops, look at that. Second knife isn't here for that playthrough. Let's splice in other footage when it is. Perfect. This is the original playthrough right after I killed Adam. So let's get that knife and morph to Turtle Pond Camp. The first cabin here is a one-door cabin with a knife inside. So let's just go get it. Okay. Looks like it's not here for this playthrough. Bummer. I'll have to splice in footage when it is. Okay, we're in Turtle Pond. You motherfucker, don't even... What's with the offline bots today, huh? Let's just get this knife and get back to the original playthrough. There's a knife next door on another one-door cabin, and this time it's on the outside. Let's shift over and grab it. Splendiferous. Let's go. There's one more cabin in this cluster, and it's an unnamed cabin with two knives in two predictable locations, and this time they're both outside. So let's just grab this one here, and then shift around the cabin to grab the other one as soon as my shift comes back. Alright, perfect. There's a cabin up the street here that I should probably just morph to, but I'm not going to. I like to save that morph for Mulholland Camp. So instead, we're going to go trudging across the tundra, mile after mile, trudging across the tundra, right down to the parish of St. Alfonso. Great googly moogly, what am I talking about? All right, after this knife on the back of this one-door cabin, I'm going to shift down to the next cabin to grab the knife inside. It's a really weird pattern that we've got here on Pinehurst with the inside knives and outside knives and alternating one-door cabins, but it makes it really, really easy to remember where the knives are. They alternate. Last one was outside, this one's inside. On to Mulholland Camp. The first cabin there is Carmine's Moose Lodge. Now, we typically see the knives here on the wall as soon as you open the front door, and then on the rear of the cabin, kind of on the side next to the back door. But that knife on the back didn't spawn. In fact, I've never gotten it to. And we're going to have to talk a little bit about why this is a little later, but for now, just know that when I go out this back door and I turn to the right, there's not going to be a knife there. I don't know why. But first, I've got to kill somebody yet again because the offline bots won't leave me alone. It's insane. I have never had the offline bots be so aggressive before, but there's a first time for everything. So let's just chop down this door, hang a right, and see that there's not going to be anything at all on the corner. See that? Nothing there. I don't know why I checked the other corner. I know it's not going to be there either, but there's no knife on the back of Carmine's Moose Lodge for Pinehurst. Can't tell you why. Okay. Next up, Solid Weld Lodge. We know what that means. There's a knife on the bathroom, and there's one inside the front door. But before we go through the front door, I like to make a beeline to the knife on the cabin next door. It's on this corner here, just not for this map. So let's splice in some footage. Okay. Back in Mulholland Camp, back over here next to Solid Weld Lodge, there's my knife. And just so you know I'm not pulling a sneaky on you, let's walk next door so you can see this nameplate. Another counselor trying to hit me with a flare gun. Unbelievable. Where'd you learn to shoot from me? Okay, original playthrough. There's the knife inside the front door. Let's morph over to the cabin next to the orange grove. We can skip Reckless Ridge, the barn, and the main house. Ain't shit on 'em. In fact, the two covered bridges, the light posts, and anything else you can think of, just forget it, because the cabins are the only places we will find knives on Pinehurst. So instead, let's go inside this small cabin here to grab the knife behind this half wall. And again, the last small cabin had a knife outside. This one has one inside. Sure, they're not next to each other, but whatever. Pinehurst A is the inside-outside small cabin knife map. And yes, I'm calling it that forever now. Last up, Crumb Cabin. So let's get the two knives here. First one's on the front to the right of the nameplate, and the second one is inside behind the green door that Jason can't open. So let's go chop that down and grab the last knife. Ooh, it's open. Perfect. Lock the front door, leave the back door wide open. Great strategy. Let's talk a bit about Carmine's Moose Lodge. We've seen that cabin on Crystal Lake and other maps, and it always has two knives. But those cabins are more log cabin-like. The cabins on Pinehurst are more boxy. They don't have the logs protruding out of the corners, and with the position this knife is usually in, maybe the developers just couldn't translate that knife to these spiffed up and boxy cabins? Who knows? But I must have reloaded this map 30 times today, trying to get footage of it, and I couldn't. Pinehurst Map A has 20 knives to collect, right after the two in your shack. And what was that? 22 possible locations? That sounds right. Write that down. You heard it here. Till next time, you guys, thanks for checking this out. I hope you learned something, and I hope you had fun. I also hope you give this a try and reap the benefits from knowing the cabins and the maps. And if we get a chance to play a match someday, I hope you get me with one of these 20 knives. Till then, stay safe out there, you guys. Cheers, and happy Friday.